We will call to order the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago, constituting ex officio the Electoral Board to hear and pass upon objections to the nomination papers of candidates for offices to be nominated or elected at the March 17, 2020 general primary elections. Good afternoon. My name is Maricel Hernandez. I'm the chair. Seated to my left is Commissioner Jonathan Swain, and to my right is Commissioner Cressy. The next item on the agenda are the Rule 20 hearings. We have one case, 20 EBWC-007, Quintella Benson and Ava Thomas versus Anthony Beal. And this is a continuation of the Rule 20 hearing that we had earlier this week. If I could get the appearances from the parties.
Laura Jacksack, J-A-C-K-S-A-C-K for the objectors.
Bert Odelson, O-D-E-L-S-O-N for Alderman Beal.
Thank you. Both of you received the handwriting experts supplementary report?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Mr. Odelson, do you want to go first, and do you have anything regarding to say?
There's not much more to say after reading the forensic document examiner's report, because she verified what she said the first time she looked at the signatures, but this time she had one additional piece of information, actually in some cases 2 pieces of information, one being the affidavit and one being the driver's license. So she had 3 documents to examine this time. The first time she examined the petition signature versus the registration card. This time she had the affidavit of people who swore under oath that that was not their signature, and as I stated last time, bearing the same signature that's on the petition sheet and the registration card. You're probably one of the most detailed and best forensic reports I've ever seen. She has detailed again that every single one that she examined is the true signature of the petition signer, whose registration card bears that signature. Therefore, as we asked in our Rule 20, I'm asking that you follow your forensic document examiner's advice, overrule the hearing officer, restore those 10 signatures, which, according to my math, would give the candidate 4 signatures above the minimum required. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jacksack?
Thank you. First, just speaking directly to the report, there are 10 signatures, as counsel said, that are at issue in this Rule 20. 9 of them were examined, according to this report, by the handwriting expert. Sheet 101, line 2, which is Geraldine Gilliam, was not examined by the handwriting expert, according to this report. Anyway, so I bring that to the board's attention. I think, therefore, we obviously don't have additional information, or does not have additional information from the handwriting expert regarding sheet 101, line 2, Geraldine Gilliam. I have just a couple other things I'd like to say briefly to the board. One is that, of course, the handwriting expert is indeed a handwriting expert, which is why she has that title. But handwriting expert is not an infallible science. The candidate argued in this case that 75% of the handwriting expert rulings that went against the candidate were in error. The candidate submitted 47 affidavits out of approximately 66 rulings that went against the candidate. Not all of these, of course, were even considered by the board. The hearing officer didn't deem some of them sufficient to overrule. The candidate brought in some more witnesses. But even if we just go with what was overruled by any means by the candidate, and the board adopts that portion of the recommendation, the board would be saying that in at least 40 signatures, the handwriting expert in this case erred, and that not in the candidate's favor, and the candidate was able to overrule that. So we all know it's not an infallible science, and certainly not in these circumstances where people are signing on clipboards, et cetera, and that's exactly why the board has in Rule 10 evidence and allows affidavits and live testimony to counter the handwriting expert's rulings. And the board has spoken many, many times, we're all familiar in the past, that part of the reason the board allows affidavits so as not to disrupt the lives, make people take off work and school. For somebody who wanted to participate in the process, wanted to sign a petition, and now to have their signature counted would have to take off work and school. So we allow that to happen by affidavit. And I would argue that is just as strong, or even stronger perhaps, for somebody who says, I did not sign a petition, and yet my name is now being used, not with my authority, and then I would have to take off work or school, but I'm glad the board allows me to submit an affidavit. I feel strongly about it, so I'm even giving a copy of my government ID to sort of reassure the board, this is me, I am saying this. And then I just want to go back to the handwriting experts report briefly one more time about something else, and that is that the handwriting expert, according to the report anyway, examined, as I said, 9 out of the 10 signatures that are at issue in this Rule 20, but it also went beyond the scope of the Rule 20, and it looked at additional affidavits submitted by the objector that the hearing officer deemed were not sufficient to overrule the handwriting expert's rulings. And the concern here is that the handwriting expert, according to the report, was only given these that could sort of work against the objector. They weren't given any additional beyond the scope materials that the candidate submitted. And so, of course, it's, the handwriting expert is an expert, but still I'd say it's human nature. We don't really expect people. We expect people to do a good job the first time and not really change their minds that much. And so we don't know. We know that they went beyond the scope of objectors' exhibits, but we don't know what would have happened if they had, been given some of the candidates' signatures and affidavits as well. And so then my just last point on the affidavits, I specifically, I spoke just kind of off the cuff last time, saying there were a couple that had misspellings. There are actually 4 that have misspellings. They are Jennifer Cole, Herman Larry, and LaToya Williams, and then Geraldine Gilliam, sort of the ends of her names were not first and last name. There wasn't middle letters missing, as with LaToya Williams, Herman Larry, and Jennifer Cole. And then last time I know the board spoke a little bit at sort of like, well, also looking at addresses and all in the hearing, and this is all on the full record, the hearing officer's position, and both parties agreed to it, was that only the signature should be examined here, because only the signature is required to be written by a voter. And so anyone can write the address. So it more actually was with the other ones, but some with this, that we looked at the addresses and we said, no chance that voter wrote that, or it looks like the voter did write that, and we said, we, at least the parties, agreed. Of course, the board can find otherwise, but we, the parties, it's on the record, found that only the signature was at issue. And so for all of those reasons, we ask you to adopt the hearing officer's recommendation and sustain the objection.
Thank you. Mr. Lasker?
I'd just like to clarify, there were 16 affidavits involved that the objector had submitted. I did provide the file from the folder from the case file containing those affidavits. I did not realize until we received the report from the handwriting expert that it appears only 15 of those 16 affidavits were included in there. So I'm aware of the fact, everything that we've been discussing, I've been aware of the fact that only 15 of the 16 affidavits were reviewed, which, as Jack Sack is correct, that means only 9 out of the 10 signatures that are at issue in the Rule 20 hearing were actually reviewed by the handwriting expert. So I just want the board to be aware that was a mistake, but we are aware of that. I think beyond that, my understanding was that the scope of the review requested by the Electoral Board was for all 16 of the affidavits to be reviewed, not only the ones that had been ruled as one way or the other, but that we wanted that entire package to be reviewed because they were in your mind still at issue under this Rule 20 hearing. So that's why that happened.
That's correct.
And also just do consider the differences, and Ms. Jacksack mentions correctly, there were several rulings by the handwriting expert that were overturned in the Rule 8 hearing based on the affidavits presented by the candidate. Those are rulings where originally the handwriting expert had said that the signatures do not look similar. And the handwriting expert's reports take into consideration the age of the specimen signatures, and of course voter registration signatures can look different even if they're by the same person. So the candidate brings in evidence showing, explaining that why things don't look the same. I think it's a little bit different of a situation than what we have here, where the expert is reviewing signatures that she appears to, the appears to her to be similar, where the similarities are there and don't need to be explained as compared to when there are dissimilarities by the same hand, it requires additional evidence. So I think that is just my clarification of the responses to the members here.
Thank you. Regarding the objector's Rule 8 affidavits and the corresponding petition signatures, it's always been the objector's burden to prove that the signatures are not genuine. Petition signatures are presumed to be valid under Section 10-8 of the Election Code unless an objection is filed against them. In this case, these 15 signatures were found to be genuine during the Rule 6 records exam, which included a review by the board's certified forensic document analyst. Therefore, the burden of proof remained with the objectors when they submitted these affidavits during the Rule 8 hearing, which did not involve any analysis by the board's handwriting expert. The objector still carries the burden of proof during this continued Rule 20 hearing. Having reviewed the report from the board's handwriting expert, it appears the affidavits are not credible and should be given no weight in support of the objector's allegations. The record, therefore, does not contain any credible evidence to prove that these 15 signatures are invalid or not genuine, and they should therefore still be credited towards the candidate's minimum signature requirement. In his final report and recommended decision, the hearing officer found 9 of these affidavits credible, and he therefore discounted those are valid, and that his name therefore shall be printed on the ballot for that office at the March 17, 2020 Democratic primary election. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We have the city.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a written decision to memorialize the actions taken today by the Electoral Board. Since the parties are in the room, I'll remind them that today will start the 5-day clock for judicial review under Section 10-10.1 of the Election Code. Wait a few minutes after the hearing, we'll serve this decision on you today. If you can't wait, we'll put it in the mail and serve it in accordance with Section 10-10. Thank you.
We have any other comments at this time, Mr. Monster?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
And this is the last of our cases, is that correct?
This is the last of the pending Electoral Board cases, yes. We have appointments on judicial review at the moment, but that's out of our hand, out of the board's hands for now. I would like to take a moment to thank all the staff members who have done a really remarkable job on this Electoral Board cycle. John Powell's our supervisor, and he's done every aspect of what the Electoral Board takes, and now he's teaching and training the staff to do that. He really, at the same time that he's getting the city ready for early voting, he's also making sure the Electoral Board is in good hands. We have John Powell and Jim Carley who run, we have Charles Holliday and Jim Carley who run the records exams. And the record exams went quite smoothly, quite well this time. Many staff members, including Mario Garcia, Jennifer Durham, Betty Horton, she just snuck out, and Maria Flores and Julio Pantoja, who have been receiving all of the filings and communicating with attorneys on scheduling and working with the hearing officers. And then we've had several clerks. I want the clerks to know that the hearing officers have all reported to me how incredibly helpful they are. And they really appreciate that we provide that, to be able to let them concentrate on the arguments without having to concentrate so much on keeping the files in good shape. So Daniel Kaywood, Danny Lang, Nick Ryan, Elizabeth Simmons, thank you all very much.
I would totally agree. The staff has been great. John, thank you so much for all your work and your continued work, because it hasn't ended yet. But thanks everyone here, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do the work we do and do it well. So thank you very much.
I would like to thank the chair, Executive Director Mike Scott as well, for the work that they've put in these last few weeks. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
just on, Laura is a past president of the election bar, and I've been an active member for a few decades now. And I personally, I want to thank the board and Lance and Adam and Charles and the staff on behalf of the election bar. I'm sure Laura echoes that too, for the remarkable job you've all done, as well as the county this time around. You've made our lives a lot easier, and you've protected the the candidacies and the objectors too. So I want to personally thank you.
I'll let Laura speak for herself.
I echo everything that Bert said, and I specifically wanted to shout out Adam, since he was thanking everyone, once again doing the work and not getting the things.
Exactly right.
Thank you to everyone, and I particularly heard about good things in the records exam, so I know that's a really hard thing. I want to thank Mr. Halligan for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we did sign.
Yep, it's signed, the photocopy is being made, and served them momentarily.
And I think we just did public comment.
Oh.
Unless anybody else has any other comments, but if not, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn these proceedings. Thank you all very much. And
Madam Chair, I happily move that we adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.